Good evening and welcome to City Pulse. Gibraltar is steeped in history and heritage, but heritage isn't just museums and buildings. It's more than that. It's where we come from and what we pass on. But in this ever-expanding concrete jungle we call home, how much of it is under threat? Tonight we'll be joined by former chair of the Gibraltar Heritage Trust, Balestrino, to discuss why conserving our heritage matters and who's responsible for saving it. What do you make of the proposed replacement of the sundial on Winston Churchill Avenue, or the state of our iconic red phone booths? citypulse@gbc.gi if you'd like to have your say. But first, a warm welcome to our contributors, Heidi Jeffries and Kenneth Cardona. ¿Cómo estamos?
Aquí estamos otra vez.
Back-to-back appearances by Heidi Jeffries. Oh, no.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Pasado por agua.
All good?
Pasado por agua.
Good to see you again.
It's been
A wet one, eh?
Very wet and cold winter.
Cold.
Yeah.
I think it's the coldest, ¿no? Que hemos
I
tenido.
can't remember it being this cold.
I welcome it. I love the novelty of needing more than 2 layers.
No, give me summer.
Really?
Give me el sol.
No.
Sí, hombre.
Yeah, you take...
I'm a summer person.
Yeah.
July, born in July, con que...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find from about now until summer, I'm looking forward to summer. And then after about a month of summer, I'm already looking forward
To winter.
No, I never look forward to winter at all.
Ni yo.
No?
I don't look forward
those
to
cozy
No,
nights in.
I mean, people have suggested, when I've been traveling or places to go, and in some cases, ¿por qué no hay? No, hace mucho frío. No.
Mi marido, así.
Hey, no.
So you'd never consider a winter holiday?
No.
You'd never consider Scandinavia?
No.
No.
None of that?
No.
A straight no.
No.
En la vida.
Piscina
Playita.
y sol.
Pero not to be relaxing, doing nothing. Para ir de holiday, para ir a... No, scenery, cositas bonitas, not to relax.
Not necessarily
gusta-
piscina y playita, pero definitely not somewhere que nada más que para salir te lo tiene que pensar 2 veces.
No.
Eso no.
I mean, this is a huge first world problem here, I admit. But having a shower in the summer and then getting out and then drying myself, and before I've even put my t-shirt on, I'm sweating again. That I don't miss.
Don't dry yourself.
That-
Te quedamos ahí, ¿no?
See, no?
Good one.
One step ahead.
Yeah,
One step ahead.
There you go.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank
For
you.
context, just explain.
Basically, Mercy Bosso, she retired, and I've taken over as chairperson for Breast Cancer Support Gibraltar. So yeah, very big boots to fill.
I imagine. I've never met Mercy, but what sort of legacy does she leave behind? I mean, she was a real hard worker.
A passion, her baby. She fought for, the charity has fought for oncology suite. Like, she started off, we need this in Gibraltar, so she got the ball rolling. Nada, we've got a brand new oncology suite. She wanted here in Gibraltar to mirror what the UK offer. In the Royal Marsden, obviously, she's a breast cancer survivor ×2, because she's had breast cancer twice. So she wanted Gibraltar to have lo mejorcito de lo mejorcito. Aunque she started campaigning, and that's what the charity is here for, really, to campaign for the better services for the GHA. Pasar una manita al GHA, we train people, we help buy machinery, you name it. Nosotros hemos comprado over £640,000 we've spent since the inception of the charity in cosas para el GHA.
Wow. And so you said big shoes to fill. You stepped into those shoes just a few days ago.
On the 20th.
How and when was it her that asked you?
Yeah.
Personally? And was it an easy decision, hard decision?
I was a vice. I was a vice chairperson, and I knew it was coming because she always said, the day my dream is fulfilled, which is the new oncology suite, it's time for me to step down.
That was her sort of legacy project, no?
Sí, y yo I was dreading it. I was dreading it, la verdad. Pero mira, I've been in the charity since 2014. Y obviously we've seen many changes throughout my time. Y digo, pues nada.
I keep thinking 2014 was like a few years ago. I have to remind myself that's over a decade ago.
Sí.
Sí. 11?
It's over a decade ago, and I don't know about you, but now I tend to measure life as pre and post-COVID.
COVID,
Yes,
sí, yes.
yes.
And I think a lot of people do, eh?
Yes.
Sí.
Todo el mundo piensa,
It's
antes
like,
de COVID,
it's like
después de COVID.
BCAD, like the modern
Yeah,
version
yeah,
of
yeah,
in
yeah.
serio, eh?
En el power, detrás en el power estamos diciendo antes de COVID era eso, ¿no?
Yeah.
Después de COVID. So
Yeah.
we always go back to pre and post COVID.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
any conversation que tengamos. Sí, es verdad.
And
It's
that
true.
couple of years of COVID where time just sort of morphed and melted and nobody knew what
was
on
happening.
earth was happening, no? And here we are post-COVID. Well, no, congratulations
Thank
anyway.
you very much.
It's
Thank you.
it's the most common form of cancer in women. We know that 1 in 8 are expected to be diagnosed in their lifetime. It's a real team effort. I mean, you are now the face of the charity, but it's a real team effort.
Yeah. Everything we do, we don't say because I've done it. It's the committee, the team, and with the help of the community. So it's team and Gibraltar, because obviously all our fundraising goes towards obviously purchasing stuff. Pero somebody comes to us with a problem and we'll go and tackle it if we can. No, we help out as much as we can. Pero as we always say, it's all for one and one for all. En plan,
Yeah.
we're all. It's not just one person. It's teamwork.
I remember reading a news story, a local news story, speaking of COVID, it was during that sort of period, suggesting that not enough women were turning up for their mammogram appointments. Is that still an issue?
Yeah, I think that's something that ladies are scared. Mucha gente dicen, oh, because it's too painful. And I always say you weigh the consequences. Like a couple of seconds there, be uncomfortable. Yeah, your boobs being squashed. Yeah, no, pero you just weigh the consequences. Que te va a estar molesta un par de segundos el outcome. So obviously, hay mucha gente that the fear of the unknown.
Yeah. Is it so much the fear of or the discomfort of the actual
And the results.
process
And the results.
or fear of worst case scenario,
Yes.
no? The news that, you know.
But
too.
early detection saves lives. As we say, the mammogram is your life insurance.
Now,
It
I
is a life-
imagine that any time that you do a serious test like that, no, even if you don't have symptoms, at the back of your mind you're always thinking,
Claro.
¿y si me encuentran algo?
Sí, sí,
¿Y
sí,
si me
sí.
encuentran algo? You see what I mean? So I suppose that apprehension
Sí.
is in your mind, no?
Always.
And,
Always.
You know?
But not all lumps are malignant. Because the reason I got into the charity was because back in, Matthew was born in 2004, must have been 2006, 2007, I found a lump. And obviously, at that time, aquí no había mammograms. They sent me to Sanit. I had the contrast scan done, and things just started going into my head. Boom, y sigue esto que vamos a pasar, que si los niños. But it turned out to be benign. So not all lumps son malos. And people always think, oh, tengo un burto. Oh, not always.
And so if there's anybody watching that might be in that zone right now, with even a shade of doubt, what would your message be to them? Number to call, who to speak to?
Go and get it checked, because no question is a silly question when it comes to health. Muchas veces, it's a silly question. I'm not going to ask the doctor. No. If you're in doubt, you know your body more than anybody else. You know that's not normal in you. Go and get it checked. Go to the PCC, and sort of message us via Facebook.
You guys are on socials, yeah.
Breast Cancer Support Gib, and sí, claro, we're there to help. That's what we're there for, support.
Nice one. So I'll give you an idea of what the City Pulse team does throughout the week. We obviously have the show on the Monday, then we'll have a debrief on Tuesday, we'll have another meeting on Friday and figure out the talking points for the Monday's show. Always something happens over the weekend, and so we need to update the list of talking points for Monday.
Yeah, just to keep you people on your toes. Yeah?
Exactly.
Para que se ganen la paga. Ahí está. Eso de Monday to Friday. Sí.
Thankfully, things could have been a lot worse, but a fire at Arengo Gardens on Saturday night resulted in 2 people requiring hospital treatment, with a number of police officers and residents requiring treatment at the scene for smoke inhalation. Residents have described people being trapped by smoke billowing through the stairwell of the affected building. The incident saw neighbours and bystanders braving the fire to help. Shout out to Gil Lopez and Kenneth Martinez, who are the two men who, as far as we know, were those who were at the scene, risking their own lives so as to help some of their neighbours. We've got footage of it now. What a terrifying Saturday night for residents of the area.
9:45, no? It started in the evening.
Yeah, well done, Kenneth.
I could actually smell burning from my house.
Where do you live?
On George's Lane, por ahí. No, we could smell burning. Y digo yo,
Algo está quemando.
And then you hear all the fire. Tú sabes, todos los sirens. Aquí pasa algo grande, no? I didn't actually go to my terrace to see it, no, pero people were already sending videos porque aquí en Gibraltar enseguida.
Pero mucha gente no
WhatsApp
sabía.
was going
mad, ¿no? Pero many of the neighbors ni lo sabían.
No, ya. Que something that I did want to comment on because I read about this on Facebook and I can't remember who the person's name was, pero it's, I think, somebody who lives in Arengo's Gardens, no? Thanking the fire brigade, emergency services and whatever. And very important, which was very heartening, shall we say, thanking the neighbours for their community spirit. They came out, they offered them water,
blankets,
tea. Some of them even took some of the people into their own houses. Eso is...
Makes you proud to be Gibraltarian,
yeah.
¿no?
Sí.
Yeah.
One of those.
Eso es el
spirit.
granito. That sense of community.
Eso you don't find it abroad.
No.
Eso no lo encuentras tú
¿Tú sabes lo que
en
me
Londres.
recuerda eso, Heidi?
¿Lo qué?
Los Humphreys
¿Te acuerdas?
de antiguamente.
La puerta abierta, people going in and out.
Open
Eso
door
de la
policy.
puerta abierta, actually. My wife once, we always used to have the doors
Y nosotros,
open,
en Picture,
siempre,
la puerta abierta.
¿no? Y obviously she lived somewhere else. Y one point in time she says to me,
Espérate, had you charmed her yet?
no, yeah, well, she was my girlfriend by the time.
Okay.
Coaching, ¿no? Porque en tu tiempo era coaching.
Era coaching.
Es más mayor.
Me dice, ¿tu madre cierra la puerta? Y le digo, sí, de noche.
It's true.
They would open the door in the
But
morning.
that was the norm, no? That
It
was
was
the
the
norm.
norm. Afuera jugando los dominos, playing cards, and having tea. En vez de in the kitchen, afuera, la mesita.
Yep.
Tea, los biscuits, y ahí íbamos de puerta en puerta. Y... That was...
nice.
I remember eso.
Yeah,
Eso era
good.
un
Different
tiempo.
times. The GFRS, just for the record, are investigating the cause. They've declined to comment. They still don't know the root cause for the fire at this point. But once again, hats off to those who helped. Absolute heroes. Well done. Speaking of Gibraltar, y se llanito y eso, Roji,
Oh,
Rogi.
expressions of interest.
wait.
Again.
Espérate.
I'm losing track.
No.
How many expressions of interest have there
Mira,
been?
Rogi, I'm going to tell you, the one thing that I fear, and I hope it's not going to happen, que some expression of interest, somebody rich, immigrant, comes and builds a load of houses there for the rich, and that's it.
Y ya está.
Yo creo,
It wouldn't be the first time.
francamente, this is my view, and I'm just thinking out loud. Now that we have the reclamation ahí del Westview Park,
Sí.
and I don't know what the kind of water flow there's going to be around the Gaza area. Vale?
Yeah.
Ese sitio, El Rogi, is perfect to have something like, going back in history, como el Montague. El Montague Pavilion.
Yo creo que it needs un
Affordable housing.
facelift. Un facelift to be restored a lo que era antes.
Yeah.
El Rogi. Es que-
Bueno, pero there's a lots of things that can be done, pero for the benefit of the community. Eso es lo que te estoy diciendo.
que there's
no
lots
sea
of people
pa' un-
that use it como
Yeah.
una playita, ¿por qué no? Pero make the walkway.
Sí, claro.
Las cosas como son. It is
Pero
looking
hacerlo-
pretty run
pero
down these
eso
It
days.
is, it
El
needs
Rogi-
a facelift, pero
El Rogi,
dejarlo.
what it is suffering from, like a lot of other things, porque podemos hablar de una pila cosa, is abandonment.
Sí.
It's abandonment.
Yes.
Como And a typical example of this in history era el Teatro Real. Ahí lo dejaron abandonado for yonks and yonks and yonks.
And it's got so much potential, no? It's got
yeah,
so much
it's
potential
got a lot
for,
of
you
potential
think, water
to do
sports,
something
diving.
good for the community. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Aqua park, there's been mention about an aqua park y eso, and there's hambre.
Bueno, tanto como eso no, pero like a proper bathing pavilion, yo qué sé.
Sí, sí, sí,
algo se
sí.
puede
Yeah.
hacer.
Sí.
Yeah. The tender
Fishing y
notice
todo.
calls for the area to be restored innovatively, and sensitively. Again, it has been, is, and always will be a popular dive spot, but there is so much more that could be.
The history of
The
the
history
place.
there, heritage.
The history of
I
the
mean, we'll
place.
raise it in part 2 100% with Mr. Heritage himself here in Balestrino. So.
I mean, when you tell people that is where HMS Victory was towed to after the Battle of Trafalgar, y lo miran y tú dices, por favor.
It used to be called La Caleta de San Juan.
Sí, yeah.
La Caleta
Wow.
de San Juan era Rogi.
That was
I researched it, eh?
the vernacular name, no? Sí.
See, it was.
yeah.
I mean, the health and safety aspect as well is one worth
Sí.
raising because, look, I mean, it's dilapidated, but people still go there, particularly in summertime.
yeah,
People
yeah.
still swim
It's
and
not
stuff,
safe.
but it's not
it's
safe.
not
and,
safe.
and I have friends who would argue that actually that's what gives it its charm, that we lived such a sanitized life these days. This is a bit of a blast
Sí.
from the past, and I get it. I get it.
Pero
I
with
get it.
kids,
I get it.
chico.
Pero one thing is to, just leave it to abandon
or-
y que se vaya a pique,
Yeah,
¿no?
yeah.
I mean, I like nature myself, pero eso no es nature, eso es abandonado.
It's not. I mean, it's not the first time that expressions of interest were invited for Erroji. Unclear why the last one sort of failed to progress, but it's kind of exciting too that this is quite an iconic area of Gibraltar that you think maybe in 10 years' time might look. Well, it might have had a nice makeover, no?
And it's summer and winter, because it's used summer and winter.
Yeah.
In the winter, con el picnic ahí, con los perros.
Mucha gente lleva
And
los
mucha
perros,
gente. Yeah.
Speaking of the coast, let's remain on the coast. Remove it or lose it. That is the message from the government regarding canoes, paddleboards, and everything else that's been left on what Eastern Beach, La Caleta.
Caleta, and the amount of money, because estamos hablando de los paddleboards and canoes, que es valen £200 or £300 para tenerlo ahí rotting away and at the risk of theft, que se lo lleve la corriente. Or
Bueno, we had the storms. There was a video of some of them floating
por eso
away.
digo, okay, we're talking about a couple of hundreds of pounds. Yo no lo dejaría ahí.
No, ni yo, pero maybe, yo qué sé.
And so the deadline-
Or they have too much money and they couldn't be bothered, or they don't have somewhere to store it, or yo qué sé. Pero está feísimo, one, yeah? And they have to be removed because they need to clean. They need to clean.
Claro.
Y después la gente se quejarán que está sucia la playa.
sucia la playa.
Pero bueno.
So the message is from the government, remove it or lose it. That is, remove it or lose it before the deadline, Sunday the 15th of February. So you've got just over 2 weeks.
Para
Well, about 3
Valentine's Day lo puede
weeks.
quitar.
Any remaining items will be removed and disposed of. So the warning's out there.
Are
We
there?
were speaking about what made us proud to be Gibraltarian. This less so, no? There's kind of a bit of maybe a lack of civic
is.
pride here. We've spoken about civic pride
Yes.
in the past.
Bueno, no me hable de civic pride y remove it or lose it, porque yo tengo para
That's the message from Kenneth.
tengo pa hablar.
¿Tú vas a hablar?
Pero just before we get into that, and a warning, if you are slightly squeamish, we have an image from La Caleta, I think it is. It might be Eastern Beach, taken very recently. Eastern Beach, and what's happening is that in the area at the top of the beach where the paddleboards and canoes are being left, what has formed beneath and behind them are rats' nests.
Yeah.
Vale, so of
Eso no lo había
course
escuchado yo.
it attracts vermin, and there. Oh, that's a big boy, eh?
Oh my God. Wow.
He's enjoyed his Christmas. Wow,
Sí, yeah.
Okay. That's
And
massive, eh?
so Cameraman Gianni says, bring back the stray cat.
See, pues mira.
I mean, it all
Circle
of life,
yeah,
circle
got a
of life,
point.
circle of life.
Yeah, it's got a point.
Do you want to come and do it?
Vente para acá.
Mira, there's space here and the sofa, eh?
Yeah. No, it's a definite problem, the vermin issue. And so before we get on to the lack of maintenance, let's just let's fly the nest, shall we? This week, Janitas Abroad, we're off to the UK.
Hello, my name's Helen Wade. I'm a television correspondent, a reporter in London in the United Kingdom. I've been away from Gibraltar for 35 years now. So I'm a TV reporter. I spent most of my life at the BBC. Prior to that, I worked at AP for 3 years and 2 years at Sky News as a Madrid correspondent. So I went freelance after I had my second child. Since I've been freelance, I do some work at the BBC for special projects, documentaries, etc. But not daily news, which is what I used to do before because it's not very family friendly. We don't have any family around us. So I do a lot of freelance work. So I do have more work than I can cope with, really. I get a lot of calls, particularly from Spanish TV networks. They just love the British royal family. It's just the gift that keeps on giving. They keep on asking me about all sorts of stories, any developments of the royal family. So I do a lot of stuff for the Spanish networks. I also do, they also call me from Argentina, from Miami. So I do a lot of South American stuff as well, talking about Britain and the royal family. Probably winning a BAFTA for the BBC's 10 o'clock news coverage of the Madrid bombings in 2003. I was on duty when the Princess of Wales had that car accident in Paris. At first, it didn't seem very serious. Then as the night developed, I saw the news editor coming in and I thought, what's the news editor doing here? And I was in fact in an edit suite packaging the latest version, which was after Dodi Fayed had died, when the call came through to the edit suite to say the princess had passed away. It was a terrible moment, really shocking. We were all numb with shock, but we had to keep going. We did a double shift that day, and I've got a fabulous letter of commendation from the head of BBC News commending me and my team for brilliant work we did that night covering the story of the death of the Princess of Wales. The things I miss most is the sea, the smell of the sea, that kind of briny smell when you get off the plane, you can smell the brine of the sea, and you know, I just take deep lungfuls of it, and I miss being on Sandy Bay. You know, I used to spend my whole childhood, you know, every summer we were on Sandy Bay, and you know, I close my eyes and I can see myself floating on my back in the sea and looking up towards the rock with the sun shining, and I have that image very present every time I think of home at Gibraltar, even though my home is here now. And I miss the beach mostly, and I also miss just being down Main Street, bumping into people, school friends. I miss the kind of warmth of the community, the warmth of the people of Gibraltar. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how wonderful and how kind the community of Gibraltar is. I want to send a message home saying, just simply saying, okay, I'm just thinking my thoughts. All I want to say is, well done, Los Janito. Keep going. I know that you've got big changes ahead with the new treaty. Stick together. Stick to your guts. Stick to your principles. Stick together, and everything will be all right.
Helen Wade in the UK. Thank you, Helen, for doing that. Okay, so we've had a few emails in, citypulse@gbc.gi, if you'd like to contribute to the show. This one from Katia. Just on what we were talking about before, about your promotion to chair of Breast Cancer Support Gibraltar. Hello to Katia, who says, a routine mammogram saved my life. So I reiterate the importance of attending. Heidi, you might have big boots to fill, but you will do great. You've had a wonderful teacher in Mercy. Thanks for getting in touch, Katia. And now on the maintenance issue in Gibraltar. This from Rosalind. She says, I was walking through Waterport Road last night and was horrified by the state of the area. The tiles outside the new comprehensive school down to the Bahia are loose, uneven and pose a serious trip hazard. With the heavy rain over the past few days, the entire area was also flooded for much longer than usual. When I reached the Bahia, I was shocked to see an exposed lamppost. Locals in the area say this is a recurring issue, sometimes temporarily wrapped with duct tape. Is this really the standard of maintenance and public works we are accepting in Gibraltar? Thanks for getting in touch, Rosalind.
Yep.
The floor is yours, Kenneth.
I agree entirely. Bueno, can we have some images, please? If you don't mind.
Mira, ahí hay uno.
Ahí, ¿vale?
Talk to us.
Ahí está.
Say what you see.
Look at that. Es un lamppost, okay? The cover has disappeared.
Health and safety. ¿dónde está
Y
ahí?
ahí están los cables. Okay?
Live.
Live.
Obviamente.
Live. What I don't understand is there must be people who have to go around looking for these things, no? Or looking after
these things.
¿A dónde están esa gente? Why do people have to, take a photograph and send it to GBC? There are people, I am sure, who are getting paid to go around and fix stuff like that. ¿A dónde están? ¿Qué pasa aquí?
This show has in the past been a trigger for change.
Yep.
Change for good, thankfully. And so what would your message be now?
Bueno, if we could have... Mira, there's an image there that I sent you. I don't know if you can bring it up, Wes, the one of Mess House Lane, ¿vale? And this is an issue which is... It's not something that happened a couple of days ago, not a week ago, not a month ago, ¿vale? This goes back to before the summer. There is water, okay, grey water, oozing out, pero eso es ahí.
Ahí está.
¿No lo ves?
What are we seeing here?
This is, you see that thing at the back?
This is off George's Lane, no?
This is Mess House Lane, que va just off George's Lane.
George's Lane.
There's grey water seeping out of that drain, ¿vale? Which has been bricked up or whatever. Pero it goes all the way down George's Lane. Eso es grey water, okay? Grey water, agua sucia.
Agua sucia.
Agua sucia, basically. Pero this is not something that, like I said, happened 2 days ago.
It's been going
or
on
a
for
week
months.
ago, or a month ago. Esto goes back to the beginning of last summer. Y todavía está ahí, ¿vale? And then we are promoting ourselves as a tourist...
Visit Gibraltar.
Visit Gibraltar.
Que esto, lo otro, y cualquiera que pase por ahí dice, ¿tú qué?
Speaking of the tourist experience, this is one from Zuleika. Hello to Zuleika, who says the first thing visitors see when leaving Gibraltar Airport is a row of old, battered traffic cones on a filthy floor. Surely we can do better than this as a first impression of Gibraltar. And that is exactly what Zuleika refers to. Thanks for having got in touch, Zuleika. Goodness me.
Okay.
Bueno, the first impression you get as you're coming into Gibraltar at the moment, ¿vale? Is it looks like Legoland. Todo eso tieto, red and white. Those block things.
Say, not in a good way, by the way. In case.
Where ahora está el roundabout, pasa la parte de los customs y tanto,
The road is full of potholes.
It's true.
Cualquiera,
por todos lados.
any tourist who comes in with a car, en plan, ¿para dónde voy? ¿Para dónde voy?
The first impression,
No,
como
it's
que...
fatal. I appreciate the fact that all this area is going to be redeveloped.
Bueno, as soon as
Treaty related.
Once the,
¿vale? Pero que, how long has that been there? Yeah, and it gives a really bad impression, ¿vale? And, mira, it's not just about marketing, and we are going to have a reception here, y vamos a ir a una conferencia allí. It's about the little things that matter. The little things that matter, que son las cosas que la gente se
fijan. Pero mira, on the bright side, dentro de nada bien abajo. We're talking about the Francia, con que hopefully ya arreglará.
there's so many other examples, and we don't really have time to show all the examples that I've got, where la cosa es que things are just left.
Se hace a media.
No, abandonar. Abandonar, we do something, oh, mira qué bonito está. And within 2 or 3 years, mira, está hecho un asco.
And there's no maintenance.
Because there's no maintenance.
There's no maintenance. Sí.
I'd love to go to Legoland. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. Time for a quick cup of tea. And when we return, we're shining the spotlight on Gibraltar's heritage. Remember, citypulse@gbc.gi if you'd like to have your say. Back shortly. Welcome back to City Pulse. Our history, our culture, our stories must matter to all of us. They must be kept alive. That is the opening line of the Heritage Trust's strategic plan for the next few years. Recently retired Chair Ian Balestrino joins us now. Good evening, Ian. Hello.
Good evening, Robin.
Where on earth to begin?
We could be here for 3 weeks.
It feels most natural to start in the late 80s when the trust was first established.
Yep.
What was the landscape like back then?
Well, it was 1989 when a group of Gibraltarians felt that the time was right to protect our heritage. And it all started with Parsons Lodge. Parsons Lodge was abandoned, but there was a rumour going round that it was going to be knocked down and they were going to build a hotel there. And this group of people got together, the likes of Paco Galliano, Cristina Galliano's dad, John Porral, and it was quite a large, in fact, even Minister John Cortes in his younger days was part of that group. And they got together, and they developed a heritage trust. After a few years, they managed to get an ordinance, because we didn't have a parliament then, so we didn't have an act. We had an ordinance, a heritage ordinance. And from there, it developed to where we're now.
So,
yep.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say that we now have the Heritage and Antiquities Act 2018.
Long time coming.
That took 7 years to get together. One of the first things I got involved when I joined the trust was working towards the act. But it was enacted in July 2018.
And so we will get to that, but just staying back in the early years for now, I think is a very interesting time. We met the other day just to talk, sort of, what was up for discussion, kind of thing. And you said that you became a member in the early 90s, and you remembered your membership number. You were member number 31.
I still have it, because I still have that one, and I feel very proud because we're now in membership number, I think 1,260 something.
Have you got a tattoo here? 31.
31.
31. I keep on buying lottery tickets with that number. It never comes out.
Very different look these days. There's over 1,000.
Oh, definitely, yes. I mean, when I joined, I became a trustee in 2011. We had in the region of about 500, 600 members. We're now into the 1,200 members of Gibraltarians and Gibraltar residents who are members, and overseas members as well. Yeah.
Which just indicates, the sort of the growth in not just numbers, but with it, awareness.
Yeah, I mean, people, I've noticed that people are becoming more concerned, not only aware, concerned of any possible loss of our heritage assets. So, we have to work on that. And I think the Trust has done a lot towards, public participation in all the years, and it's, in fact, we have a strategic plan which we've done for, I say we, I've retired now, but that the Trust...
This is effectively the Heritage Trust's manifesto.
No,
parties have their manifestos, but so does the Gibraltar Heritage Trust. There you go. 2025 to 2028.
Yeah, it was.
What are you promising us?
Well, free housing, free. No, we decided that to get it together because like everything, we have to evolve, we have to modernize, we have to try and make it more vibrant and more active. So we've devised this strategic plan with that in mind. To make it, the Trust has been lately interviewing for a vacancy that was created as a result of the plan for a community engagement officer. In fact, I believe interviews were carried out last week or the week before. The idea is to recruit somebody who will be an outreach person. One of the first things will be giving talks to schools, youth clubs, try to get the youth more heritage-minded, because unfortunately schools don't cover, the curriculum doesn't cover Gibraltar history. Although nowadays it's been introduced partly, very little. But we're trying to recruit somebody to carry that out, and also to organise. We do a lot of tours for members. There's 2 or 3 every week, practically, to places of interest, and that person will be the driver of that thing as well. So,
and just for context, you were chair from 2016 for the best part of a decade. Kenneth, you were about to say something.
Yeah. No. This is an issue which goes back. You're talking about local history in schools, and it goes back a long time ago.
Battle of Hastings, 1966.
My own personal opinion, when I was part of the National Curriculum Working Group on History at the time, y todos los títulos estos que se daban y todo lo demás, ¿no? Que one of the things that, personally speaking, I always used to think, bueno, mira, we are teaching the kids the Tudors and Stuarts. Not that I am saying that that's not an important part of history, but really it was very detached from the locality and what have you. There was not much that you could, infuse kids with. No?
A mí no me interesaba in school.
At all. If you were
all.
doing, for example, the Romans or the Greeks or algo, pues mira, there was a local element to it.
You could introduce.
Pero even Victorian Britain, por ejemplo, you could talk a little bit about Victorian Gibraltar, what have you. Pero a veces tú decías, bueno, ¿para qué estamos enseñando esto? No, it's completely, we should have perhaps spent more time talking about what Gibraltar was like during that period.
During the period. But I love the idea. I love the idea.
And now, a lot of schools are doing projects which are Gibraltar history,
related.
cultural, associated. Which are doing things. And the Trust is also doing handicraft sessions for kids. At Withams, with the heritage theme behind it. We do it up in Witham Cemetery.
Qué bueno.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Before we go from location to location, and there are plenty to get through, first of all, just explain, how is heritage status declared? How do you value something? What's the criteria?
Right. A building, say, or...
it could be a site, a building.
You have to... there is a documentation and a format how to analyze the value, the asset, of the asset. No? You have to take into consideration the historic essence of the building. Say, well, let's take City Hall in John Mack Square. You're going to look at it and do normally the way you do it is you do a desk-based assessment and you study the history behind the building. Then you see the value of the building and the not the contents but the whole thing, what it means to the whole environment, whether it has its historic value, whether it can be used to enhance its value as well. Then you can follow a process in which you include it in the Heritage Act schedule as a listed building or monument.
Its potential for future use.
Yes. I mean, this is an ongoing thing as well. I know that in my time in the trust, some trustees were doing, or are still doing, analysing private buildings in Gibraltar and assessing the heritage value for inclusion in the Act as a protected building. I mean, you'll be amazed. New Mall House, police station, or the police headquarters, that's not listed. The City Fire Brigade Fire Station is not listed.
Wow.
And that's an Art Deco 1930s
going
building.
back.
Ian, can I just ask you, porque we've just been talking about maintenance and things being abandoned,
Yes.
if you see what I mean.
I heard
I want to ask you about two particular buildings, ¿vale?
Right.
One is the old Gibraltar Chronicle building.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And the other one is opposite that, on that square.
The LSS.
Lo que era el
The
DLSS.
DLSS,
Yeah.
social
Those are two buildings which are completely and utterly abandoned. No, I would say that there is some historical heritage value in both of them. No, for example, and this is just me thinking out loud. Part of our heritage is the amount of archives or an archival evidence that is held in the Gibraltar National Archives.
Oh, very good.
Gibraltar National Archives está metido ahí en un bujío.
Yeah.
¿Vale?
Yeah.
In the governor's carpet.
I know,
Why don't they
I've
use
been
that
many times.
building as a library or an archives como
Yeah.
like
What-
they do in other places?
I
no?
mean, in Anthony Peter Luger's time as the archivist, one of the proposals that Anthony made, in fact, was to move to the Chronicle
Building.
and the printing works at the back.
Yep.
Ah, see.
And use that and it would have, we would have the Garrison Library next to it and the archives all in one
makes
location.
perfect sense.
Yes.
Never happened, no?
Well, apparently, and Anthony did it officially, and we supported his idea, and it was felt that it wasn't the appropriate location.
Okay.
But then another suggestion was made to do it at Duke of Kent House.
Pero eso tiene humedad que no vea.
And that is something else which, at the moment, that is the latest proposal,
Sí, pero,
is to move it there.
but this is the point
I
I was
know,
trying to make.
I agree. I
Muchos
agree.
proposals,
I know.
muchos planes,
Yeah.
and in between,
No pasa nada.
the buildings are deteriorating
Yeah.
rapidly.
Very rapidly.
Rapidly.
And
Not
on
only
that
that.
subject, we've got some images of plenty more on the subject of old buildings.
all right.
Ian Balestrino, say what you see.
Casements.
See, the clock tower at
¿Eso qué?
El reloj de toda la vida.
the reloj the casement.
¿Eso qué?
Bueno, that was recited to make way for
We can
the
just
buses
pause this
and
one. What are we seeing here,
What's-
Ian?
It's on there.
¿Esto dónde?
That's the old town, no?
Vineyards.
Vineyards.
This is
The old
vineyards.
vineyards.
Yeah.
Right,
los
yeah,
gas
sorry,
tanks.
see.
No, tengo los gas
The
tanks.
gas work.
Yeah.
Oh my
But-
God.
Yeah. Now, you see, look, I mean, different people have
Cornwall's
different
what we're seeing
ideas. My philosophy, my way of thinking on heritage
Montague
is
eso.
that if you have a building
No, Casino Calpe.
and you can have it,
Cornwall, still Cornwall's. Sorry, Ian.
see, that's the old Cornwall Command Education Centre.
Uy,
Yeah.
la frontera, the frontier, where the
You
soldier
know,
used to be
you
allowed
have to give it life. If the building is
Yes.
derelict or whatever. I mean, one example, Wellington Front. Wellington Front was renovated and it's now, I mean, being used and it's still conserved its fabric.
Sí, absolutely.
You know, you could still use the different vaults if you wanted to, you know, use it as a barracks or whatever. They're still there. Another big one, really, which I think was, that's the old Dockyard Gate.
Yeah, so
Gate,
we
yes,
talk
okay.
about that just because...
Okay, let me quickly say about
Yeah.
the university
Yep.
as well. That is a building that was, the MOD left it and it was in ruins. And now it's being used as very nicely. All right, they've they've had to modernize, but nowadays you have to modernize.
Yeah.
People want...
Pero
That's got a
you know,
beautiful blend of the old and the new, no?
Sí,
But the
pero
infrastructure is
it's
still...
there.
There we go, look.
Está.
Qué bonito.
Sí, ¿sabes?
I mean, I might be biased, but the new GBC building as well
Bueno,
blends the old and the new beautifully.
Yeah, see? I mean, you're still...
And I'm not just saying that because I want to pay
The
right.
bastion is still here, but...
pero tú sabes, Ian, you travel around and you see a lot of places where buildings which are of heritage or historical value have been used for modern day purposes. No, I'm just off the top of my head, lo que era, I think it was the fish market in Bilbao.
Right.
Era una nave, la más grande, where they used to bring the fish or whatever. That's been made into a kind of social centre. It's got a market at the bottom and then restaurants at the top.
Yeah.
Yes, so, no? And I mean, talking about another one which I think highlights what I'm trying to say is King's Bastion, for example.
Sí, as well. Yeah.
Eso,
generating
perfecto,
station.
Generation station.
Yeah. The history of
the whole bastion, really.
the history of that place
See, I mean,
goes back
that was the
for
main sort of
siege.
defence during the siege. And that is still there.
But that's why I'm referring to those two buildings I referred to before.
Yeah.
No, surely there must be something that we can do. And I reiterate, because to me this is fundamentally important for the benefit of the community. No para que lo compre alguien.
No.
No, que se queda aquí en Gib.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the situation in Gibraltar, look, I've been to Malta twice. I've got good contacts in the Maltese Heritage Trust and everything, and we talk WhatsApp y cosas así, ¿no? And I am amazed what they have done and they do in Malta. They've really, really conserved the heritage 100%. They do renovations of churches, of buildings, of World War II, and so. But what do they do? They get from the EU. They're doing one project at the moment. They're renovating the naval dockyard. And they have received from the EU 1.2 million euros for that project alone. And on top of that, the Bank of Malta doubles or trebles the amount of funding that they're getting for whatever project they come up. Because
it's
why?
heritage.
Because it's attracting tourism.
Claro.
They fire a 12 o'clock gun every day in Malta, in the garden overlooking the port. And when the cruise liners come in, and the cruise liners
They all duck.
want it, no. The cruise liners pay, and they do it instead of 12, they do the 12, and then they do it at 4 o'clock when the ship is coming.
Robin,
And the ship pays.
we're going to go one up on Malta. Nosotros vamos a disparar el 100-ton gun.
Hell no. But,
But
sorry,
okay,
Ian,
it's the concept. No?
I wanted to take you back to the dockyard gates
Yeah.
because I'm a 90s kid. Most 90s, it was before my time. I've had it explained to me. It's very interesting. It was a very controversial subject. Just explain what happened with the removal of the dockyard gates, late 80s.
It was before my time. In fact, I think it was before the trust was established. And this must have been 86 or 87, if I'm not mistaken. Overnight, the government decided to knock it down, to demolish it, because they wanted the road to be free access or wider than what it was. And the whole area that we saw the photo earlier on, and the building and the police station that was there.
It was between 1988 and 1996 for sure, because that happened under the first GSLP administration.
See, so it must have been
You can check it up if you like.
88. Yeah, I think it was around 88. It was one of the first things that
For the sake of balance here, I mean, we shouldn't be looking at that incident through today's lens. It was. Is it fair to say that it was the how back then, Gibraltar, the late 80s, early 90s? This sort of thing.
There wasn't procedures. The procedures weren't there. Nowadays, I am practically sure it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen.
But it was hugely controversial,
it was done on
wasn't
impulse, it? It was done on this, or boom. And, once it's gone, it's gone. And part of that, there was apart from the actual police station that was the post that was there, there was also a guardhouse, which was wooden, which was in 2016.
What is now an art studio.
Christian
Hook's art studio.
Now that was quite. That was one of the first things that I encountered, or problems I encountered when I took over as chairman. My first stint, because the MOD submitted an application to the Development and Planning Commission to demolish. And it rang bells, obviously. No, you can't do it. Oh, yes, we'll do it, and it's ours. And we needed the car park in there to make it even a bigger car park. So we started working on it, and we started, we wrote our protest or our refusal to the Planning Commission. We prepared a document. I even went into Google, looked at the map, and counted all the cars that were parked. And there was,
inside the base,
there was probably only 20 cars there when there was enough. And then they said that they wanted it for access for the GDP, Defence Police, to access their headquarters. Anyway, we got the support from the then governor, and things started moving. And it was quite an eye-opener for me, because my mother was in Mount Alvernia. I was driving up in my car to go and see her one afternoon, and I get a phone call and say, "Can you please come down to number 6 right away?" So I said, "Look, I'm on my way to Mount Alvernia." "Well, sorry, but you've got to come down." So I dropped my wife off at Mount Alvernia and went down. And there was a very, very high-level meeting, people sitting there. And I was told that after negotiations between the Gibraltar government and the MOD, the approval had been given not to demolish, to demolish, but sympathetically, and to rebuild it. I think it was, 15 meters down.
Relocated.
The MOD, but they actually dismantled everything. It was wood and brickwork. I mean, you can see it there. Let's get it right. Yeah, the MOD would pay for the demolition or the dismantling, shall we say, and the Gibraltar government paid for the rebuild. But it was done. And look, it's there, it's been used.
We've had a message from George. Big hello to George, who says, "I've seen that heritage will be discussed on your program tonight. I wanted to raise something that has been bothering me for a while. I recently noticed an air conditioning unit installed above casemates, and it really stands out as an eyesore. I was always under the impression that this building is heritage protected, so it's disappointing to see something like this spoiling its appearance and nothing being done about it. Many value casemates as an important part of our town, and it would be good to understand how such works are allowed on buildings of historical significance." Very briefly, your reaction to that.
No, all I can say is sub judice.
Sub who?
Sub judice.
It's in the hands of the courts.
Yes, in the
in
hands
other
of the
words,
courts.
in English.
Teacher.
Yeah.
¿Quiere que te lo diga en llanito también?
In Jani language.
Apparently, it's
había
been
escuchado.
actioned by the town planning, building control.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're-
I know about it.
like I say, we're running out of time, so what I'm going to ask you, we're going to make this sort of semi-quick fire. I'm going to throw a few locations and sites at you. You guys feel free to do so too, and just how much value you place on it. Just your quick comments without thinking about it too much. Queen Cinema.
Valued, but it was felt. And look, Gibraltar National Museum, ourselves, and archives got involved before they knocked it down. We talked to the professionals who run theatres and cinema. It wasn't appropriate to be used as a community theatre because it didn't have. Photographic records were taken of the building inside and outside. All the assets they had, like cameras, etc., were taken to the museum. Look, it's a shame. I remember going to see Dr. No when the James Bond film, when it first came out, my dad took me to see it.
I worked
memories.
there part-time.
Queen
Our
Cinema,
part-time.
See?
Yeah.
Queen Cinema
There part-time.
more heritage and historical value, what used to happen inside the cinema than the actual building.
Sorry.
Speaking of potential for future use, Roger Perez.
Roger, right. Expression, as you've mentioned earlier on, expression of interest have come out once again. I think it's the third or the fourth. I don't know how many have been submitted, but I think the closing date is February, sometime in February. And it clearly specifies that it will not be used for housing or that.
Hombre.
So to be done on, like you said, like plan un chiringuito.
Like it has to
with a
fit the
leader.
environment.
Yep.
That it should fit the environment.
For the community.
To use it
For community use.
community use.
See, un uplift.
Even if they have a little beach with a chiringuito and they say, right, I want to rent dos tumbonas y una sombrilla for a $5 for the
whatever.
day,
sí.
and then you got a chiringuito. Why not have the scuba diving club there?
Yep.
Why not rent jet skis or anything to do or sailing
The
dinghies?
underwater world que tiene que tener
Sí,
eso.
tiene
Eso tiene que
mucho.
ser. There must be lots of,
And it also includes the old Fortis headquarters, the building which
The
is
FHQ.
next to
That is
FHQ.
part of that.
I think it's part of the expression of interest.
Right.
And there's possibilities of it being made into a little small hotel, which I think fine. The building is kept.
Bueno, como un boutique hotel.
Boutique hotel.
I've actually stayed in historical buildings which have been converted
That's right.
into
hotels.
hotels.
Mira.
¿Vale? En Cusco, por ejemplo, they had this Franciscan monastery,
Right.
and it was taken over by a chain, one of these big hotel chains, and it's a hotel now. Pero está really tastefully done, ¿vale? All the modern amenities,
sí,
pero tú estás
Pero
quedándote en un monasterio.
Sí.
You're actually sort of...
Yeah.
There's one in La Rioja as well, Yuso, el convento de Yuso, and I've stayed there, and it's the same.
Y hay uno...
Very, very, very briefly on the sundial. Sorry, the sundial.
The sundial, again, I mean, I remember some years ago, I don't know who, but there was a competition to make it a bit más bonito, porque ya está fatal. And people submitted design, and I think one of the designs, because I remember seeing it, I don't know whether it was on TV or in the Chronicle or whatever, was to have a statue of Sir Winston Churchill in the middle and have it flat lit. But this, I'm talking probably 15, 20 years ago.
A statue of Kenneth
Sandal-
Cardona would be
Ahí
my
está.
proposal.
Un statue con el badge de City Pulse. Ahí. Mira, el sundial soon is going to become redundant. Porque con todos los tall buildings que hay, stadium, esto, lo otro, ahí no va a dar sol.
Speaking of the gentrification of that area, Devil's Tower Road, what's your take on what is soon to be, if not already, the new hub?
Personally, I hate it. What they've done there is they could have done a beautiful entry into Gibraltar, which is now the entry into Gibraltar. We could have had a nice tree-lined avenue with buildings which are you know, express what Gibraltar is. I mean, Gibraltar is not Hong Kong ni Manhattan. I mean,
It's going that way, unfortunately. It's going that way,
it's going that way.
unfortunately.
Ma bonito, una avenida with trees and look, new buildings, pero que sean un poquito más.
So that's what we need, greenery.
And just on the, we mentioned the dockyard earlier. This is a message from Tito. You can verify if this is true, but apparently the dockyard chimney now lies disassembled along the Quarry Road.
It's next to the Gibraltar waterfall.
Yes.
Eso iba a preguntar.
By Nuffy Pool.
True.
Torre del
Yeah.
Doque.
Confirmed.
That was the chimney, the old chimney.
Yeah.
sí.
By the
there was
waterfall?
two. Yeah.
There were two of
Sí,
them.
ahí the waterfall del Quarry, ahí en la red de la hierba. They were there and they all painted. In fact, whoever dismantled it painted the numbers on each.
No me digas.
Sí.
And just before we do go,
Yeah.
well, just for a bit of fun, because you claim to have been chair for the best part of a decade, we're going to test your knowledge now.
Venga.
All right, so here goes. Ave, if you can tell us where in Gibraltar this is for 10 points.
Convent frontage looked like in the year 1864. When work began on remodeling it, the Gibraltar...
If we do it without the sound like that, we won't give away where it is.
Is that the same place?
Yeah,
Casements.
it's a waterfall.
Gates.
incorrect.
Yeah.
That is the
Yeah.
entrance, the main entrance to the convent.
Convento.
No me digas.
Ah, before the portico.
Hay que ver, Ian, eh?
Like I wasn't around then.
Pero escucha, dale un
was
chance
I?
al hombre. That wasn't built the
¿Qué
last
dice?
10 years.
I
It's a
wasn't
former
around
chair,
then.
get chance.
Portico.
That is where the
There you
receptionist
go.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
King's Chapel and Low.
10 points to Heidi.
Claro. Y yo soy la más joven, ¿eh?
Ponle el North Gate del Docket, a ver si sabe dónde es.
Lo que pasa es que tú cuando menos ves, nosotros no vemos el picture.
Mira, las gafas están aquí, las
Yo no
gafas.
veo el picture.
Ian, thank you so much. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
great insight.
It's been great.
Really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
I've
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. Thank you very much.
It has gone 10 o'clock, so time is up. Hope you enjoyed the show. Next week on City Pals, we'll be shining the spotlight on the Gibraltar Disability Society, who celebrates 60 years together. Good night.
Good night.